Hi, this is Belinda from Belinda Lee Briggs Web Design, and we are going to talk about creating a regular email in Squarespace campaigns. And so in this situation, with your site being very blog driven, we're going to look at creating two different emails that you can use as templates. One for if you're just sharing one blog post, and one for if you're going to share more blog posts than one. So let's get in there. We're going to go to marketing and email campaigns. And there are two drafts in here already. And here's the one we're going to look at. So this is the setup for a single blog post share. And so I don't think it got sent. So the sending profile is Anne, unique recipients is no one. I think it's because we haven't assigned it to a list. So let's do edit. And so if you are interested in learning more about the specific formatting settings and how everything is set up with fonts, I'm going to encourage you to pop back over and look at the automation email video that I created. I'll put the link down in the description. But here we're just going to talk about pulling in these blog posts. So again, we've got our subject, our preview text. We need to make sure we select your newsletter list. And we can schedule to send. This one says if we uncheck send immediately, we're presented with a calendar, and we can even choose what time to send it, which is great. So you can write a bunch of these at once and then send them all. So you can kind of block schedule, as it were, and then drip things out through the week, which is really great. Okay, but we are going to say to send immediately. Okay. And we're not ready to send it. So let's head to the style. When you're first on the style tab, it lets you set the background color, choose your font pack. I'm going to encourage you to stick with the same font pack for all your emails so that everyone will get to recognize. And it looks like the font settings did they adjust? No, they didn't really adjust from the changes that we made over when we were on the automation. I didn't think it would. So we're going to bump up the base font size and then bump up the scaling. What I am noticing is this is a heading 1. And I'm not sure if do we need to worry about SEO on newsletters? I don't know. That's a great question that definitely should be researched. Okay, so here in the header, they let you choose your logo height, and I'm curious to find out what happens if you were to click this when you get the email. I know that in MailChimp, you were able to set this to link to your website or to link to somewhere else, but it'd be interesting to see how that really works. So this is where everything comes together. This is a simple blog block. And this is our little spacer. It's not really a spacer block. It's just a block. Oh, it is a spacer block. Where we set the height. I liked it at 22 pixels. I just wanted to give a little bit of breathing space. And I think 22 pixels is perfect for giving a little bit of breathing space between each of our elements. Okay, and so this is a simple blog block. And the way it is set up is we have only one blog post in here. Adding a blog post is super simple. You just come in here, click a blog post and say select, which we won't do on this setup, but we will do it in a minute. And then you choose the details of what to show. And so we have the date, which is great if you're sending out a newsletter and you're sending out the current blog post. If it's a recent blog post, the date's great, even if it's not like the day that you are sending the newsletter. However, I would say that if you are sending out an older blog post, if you're resharing an old blog post, which is a great practice, because you've already written it, it's great content, and your new newsletter subscribers may have have never seen it, and your old ones may have forgotten about it and may want to revisit it. And so what you can do is come to the details section, and you can take off date posted if you want, if it's appropriate. But here it's great. If you're more than one author, you'd want to select author, but we're going to leave that off. And then you can choose your button style and change those colors, which again, we did back on the automation email. Here, the big thing is the layout. Because we're only sharing one blog post, the stack layout is a great choice. But you have a lot of other options, and we're going to discuss other options when we move on to the newsletter template that we're going to create for when you send more than one post out. Okay, and this was great before, but things have changed a lot in your business, and so we're just we should have a call to action, and I do love the call to action that we added in the automation email that says about sending in your ideas to help you with your brainstorming list. But let's delete that one though. But it feels kind of empty without some sort of introduction here. And I also feel like that does not stand out very much. So if this wraps, one of the way you can control it is you can get rid of the space and hold down Shift and press Enter. Ooh, you can't. Okay. It's not going to let us control that. But you can come in here and edit. And I do love the idea of writing a little personal note down here. So you could go between these two and just add some text and just write a little note in here. If you're not going to write a note, I would say get rid of one of these spacers. It's too many. Okay. But this does feel a little impersonal without a note from you or something else that this is coming in. So even a note up front that says, oops, that's not what I meant to do. I picked the wrong kind of blocks. A note that says, here's a topic that's near and dear to many time homeowners and downsizers. Respond to this email to let me know what your small kitchen challenges are. And then our Joe can. Okay, and so there are some options there. I'm going to say let's duplicate the spacer, drag it down. I feel like this needs a little more breathing space, so we're going to increase that padding on the top and on the bottom. And I don't like that bold. I prefer the italics. Okay. And I'm going to do a little Shift Enter so that the chow and the and stay close together. Okay, and I don't feel like I gave us enough padding, so let's try a little more. 24, 24. That feels a little better. I'm still feeling like maybe we could do a little bit more. Let's try 32. And on the top, for some reason, it feels a little, this feels even though it's uneven. Just because there's so much text here, it feels like the white space needs to be a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to leave it. So this is great. So this is what I think is going to be a great little newsletter for sharing a single blog post. And I'm not sure. You could definitely play with this section a lot more. section color. You know, maybe you want to play with your section color and your text color. Oh, that's awful. Oh, no, I don't like that at all. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, maybe we do gold up. Okay. Anyway, you could play in here all day long. Oof.
Did you eat lunch?
Okay, we're going to go back to our original.
Yeah.
Oh, one last thought. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go back. Okay. Anyhow, this is where we're at. Looking good. Look at, there's transparency in here. I'm going to add a little transparency in here. What is going on in here? Oh. Okay. Okay. So anyway, when we're ready to send, always send a test. Send it to a friend. And then check it out, make sure everything looks good to you, and come back in and make tweaks before you send. Okay. And if it looks good, you could of course send it. And it will let you do some scheduling there as well. Okay, well, scheduling is here, and then sending is there. Okay, so let's say that you were prodigious and you wrote 2 blog posts. You don't really want to use this layout because it really features just a single blog post very well. However, we will start with this template, and this is a blast, and we're going to call this 2 blog post share. Share more than 1 post. And we'll even preface it with templates so that we don't get confused. Okay. So we can leave all the rest of this email. And the one thing that we're going to do is we're just going to come into this blog post area. We're going to say manage, and we're going to choose another blog post. Let's choose these 2. And let's get rid of this guy because obviously we already used him. Now this format, you can see it doesn't really work very well. I mean, it's kind of great and beautiful, but it's just too much. It's a little overwhelming. So let's look at changing this layout. And so a layout I really liked was this card layout. I don't know, it just did a lot for me. But the one thing I don't like is I don't like this white on the back here. So let's see if we can change that. So the card is this color, and the section color, it says it's transparent. But let's change it to that background color. And there, that's a lot nicer. And now you can add any number of blog posts on here. And again, we're going to come back, do a little undo. We're going to come in here and bold up those titles. And I don't know if I love the date on there, but if you didn't love the date, you could come into details and take off that date posted. And I'm also a fan of changing those buttons when we're going to have more than one. So let's get back to details. And we're going to come down. I like an outline button. And then we're going to go. Ooh, I'm noticing your brand colors are not really in here for your dark color. So what I've done is I've gone into your site styles and I'm taking a peek at your colors and I'm going to add some to your portfolio. We're just going to paste that in here. And then by clicking that plus sign, we're adding the swatch and making it available across the blast type campaign. So you'll be able to use it in other campaigns. So let's just grab some more colors. While we're in here, I'm going to grab this gray. And notice there's no transparency there, which is not great. So we'll use my favorite color converter, convertacolor.com, and we're going to paste. Well, let's see if it will do it. No, it's saying no. Huh. Okay, so that's not working for me. So let's try my other favorite color tool. Let's see. We'll go with this guy. And what this does is it does pull in the full color, but it also lets us have some choices for other colors in that family, the same tint. So it will let us grab a gray that's similar in transparency. So let's just take a peek at it and see what it looks like. So this is what we're dealing with. And so if we can visually grab kind of a medium-ish gray, one of these two guys, I kind of like this guy, B4, B4, B4. There we go. Let's add that guy in. And then we know we're not going to use this one, so let's, you know what? Let's get rid of this guy. Because this black is more on brand for you. I also don't know where these crazy colors come from. We're going to get rid of those two. Okay, so, and we have one more color to grab. We have your brand red. Let's grab that. And let's add it in. Okay, so now we're back to formatting that outline shape button. There we go. I do wish it was a little heavier of an outline. But there we go. I mean, we could do red. Let's give it a shot. And also, you know, do a little A/B testing. Send out, maybe you could split your group in half, or, you know, 1 week send out an email with the links one color, and then the next week send it out with another color. And of course, take it with a bit of a grain of salt over whether or not it was the content or the color that made the difference. And I think back in here, okay. So let's take a peek what the red looks like. Not super in love with the red, gonna be honest. So let's head back to the purple. And honestly, I may be more a fan of the solid button. There we go. Okay, I'm feeling happy. Okay, and that, oops. Oh boy. There we go. And so we're going to call a little more attention to that title. Beautiful. And then, you know, I upped my writing game this week. Okay. I've got a recipe, delicious recipe for you, and more ideas from recent whole house renovation. Let me know if anything sparks your interest. Okay, so we've got our friendly welcoming note, so they don't feel like they're just getting, you know, shoved a bunch of information. And then we have our beautiful little posts. The one thing that is bothering me a little bit is this weird gap I'm feeling between these two. But I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. There's not lots of nice white space. Okay, so we're done. We have a beautiful layout. And if you want to add another blog post and make it 3, suppose you wrote 3 blog posts, you're just going to come in here, grab another blog post, and now Squarespace automatically set the sides up for you. I do feel like this gap here is huge unnecessarily, so I'm going to adjust the spacing between the sections. Ooh, I guess I'm not. Padding between rows? No. Okay, so Squarespace has us locked down a little bit where we cannot really modify that layout too much. So we're stuck with it. Okay. So this brings up another idea. Once you finish your whole house remodeling, you can actually send out a special email and say, here's a recap of that whole house my writings on the whole house remodeling. And so it gives you another, you don't have to write anymore. Anything extra, you've already written these blog posts, and you can add another one that says, and don't forget this whole house remodel full of great ideas that I wrote, last year or whatever. And so it gives you a lot of ability to send out blog posts even when you're not actively writing, reusing other great ones that you've written. Okay, so I'm going to take off this third guy because we're going to assume. Let's go to manage. Let's get rid of those. And remember, changing the order is easy as dragging and dropping. Now, something funny happened here. It did not change the picture, even though the title information has changed, and even though we changed everything. So that's really interesting. Let's see what happens when we come out. I'm going to come back out just to make sure before I spend time on a test email. There, it's fixed. I don't know why that is. Okay. And so we're going to click edit. And we're going to send test. And let's just make sure it looks good. And here it is in our inbox. And of course, don't forget to check it on your phone. Okay, let me know if you have any questions. I hope this was helpful. And before I go, I'm going to delete this old crusty no subject guy. And I'm going to rename this one to call itself Template Share a Single Blog Post. There. So now you've got two lovely templates that are available for you to just come in and say reuse template the next time you want to send out. And of course you can always add new templates and use some of the cool layouts that Squarespace provides. Okay,